Hello everybody and welcome to episode 28 of Lucy and Puck. Oh man, we return once again to their home where they are sleeping. Yes, and they are still sleeping in separate beds. The tension is still in the air as Puck knows what he is doing. And I'm sure he feels guilty about it. And James is sleeping. A lot going on with him too. And of course we have little Allie also having her rest. Yes, quite oblivious to all the silliness that is going on around her, as little kids often are. Although in many cases they are much more aware than you or I might think. Alright, well, it's time for James to get up, get going with his day, even if he's feeling a little sluggish. So, let him get up and run to the bathroom here. And also Allie's getting up. Time for her to go downstairs. Yes, they always begin their days early in this world. It's always a good thing. Getting an early start on things. Allie's playing a little chess alone. And well, it's time for Puck to get up too, because as the one with no job, he's the one who's making the food, at least most of the time. And that's pretty good of him, I guess, even if there is other stuff going on. At least he's still doing that. At least he tried to be a chef. And, of course, Lucy is getting up. Now, she's having a pretty big day because she is, believe it or not, running for Congress. Yes, that's right. The local people of Veronaville and the surrounding congressional district have an election today. And maybe Lucy will be elected as a new congresswoman from the area. I still don't know whether she's a Simocrat or a Simpublican, but she is running. And, of course, nobody prepares for an election better than Lucy by playing some video games, because that always prepares you. Yes, all those hours spent in front of the mirror practicing her speeches might be paying off soon. Well, it's time for breakfast, because everyone loves a good omelet. As much as pancakes are awesome, once in a while you just need an omelet. Oh man. So, they gathered together, chatting a little bit. Nothing too important though. I mean, you know, Lucy does have her important election going on today. But so does James have his school, and Lucy has her school too. A lot of stuff going on today, and Puck doesn't really have anything to do, but that doesn't mean that his mind still isn't full. Yes, he's pretty embarrassed that his wife is running for Congress, yet he's not doing anything. But anyway, school buses and Lucy's official transportation come. So she puts on her pantsuit, I guess that's what it's called. That stuff that Hillary Clinton used to wear when running for office, I guess that's what she's wearing. And school bus comes to take him away from school as soon as these kids can finish eating their omelets. And time for Puck to get the mail. Yes, last thing you want is the Repo Man. I'm not sure how much Repo Man affects election day chances, but you don't want to take any chances with that. So, time to go to school. Alright, so everyone's on the bus. And Puck is left alone in the house. Yes, he knows he shouldn't. He knows he should not be thinking about you-know-who. But he figures, hey, for the first time in a while, it's an empty house. if she just comes over for a little while, no one's going to know. But he's like, no, can't think of it. No, I can't think of it at all. So he tries to distract himself by doing some other things. Well, going to the bathroom, of course. That's not really a distraction, that's a biological necessity, but you know what I mean. And then he decides, just because he can, he's going to put on his formal suit. I mean, even if he has no job, there's no reason he can't look nice either. Even if all he's going to be doing is picking up some of the junk and disposing of it. Even though the maid's coming, it's a little bit nice to get some of that out of the way already. Gives him something to do on his, well, I would say day off, but he doesn't work, so I guess every day is a day off for the poor little Puckster. But yes, once again, he can't stop thinking about Hermia. And the temptation just becomes too much. He goes to the phone and says, Hermia, I'm sorry, I have to see you. Can you come over? Lucy's not here. The kids aren't here. They won't be here for a while. So, please come over. And he takes some time to sit down, play the piano, and passes the time with a little maple leaf rag. Yes. And to think that was once considered subversive back in the day. But it's still a good song. Oh man. Always good stuff. But yes, as he very tensely waits for his mistress to arrive. And arrive she does, standing out front, with her fiery red hair and her fiery red shirt. Ouch. So unresistible for Puck. Yes, and they make out right there in the front, hoping that nobody is there. Nobody is spying on them. I mean, the last thing they are gonna want is to be discovered. Oh man. So, time for them to go inside, where they are going to be alone. Or at least where they are going to be not bothered. Oh yes. Very sneaky things going on as they get together on the couch. Yes, first they chat a little bit, but as you know, they can't really keep that up for too long, and before we know it, the maid is left and they find themselves truly alone. So they start to get a little frisky. They're in the house. They're in his marital house. Oh my. Puck, what are you thinking? Well, they're starting to get really frisky now. Yes. And as Puck and Hermia really get into it, Puck loses track of time. Yes, Puck is not watching the clock. And what does that mean? It means that James is coming home from school. Yeah. So James is really happy because he gets a good report card. And he runs in and dun dun dun. At first he doesn't quite know what he's seeing. And even when he does know what he's seeing, his dad doesn't even see him at first. And to add to the awkwardness, one of his buddies from school comes in, and yeah, he's like, "Hello, Dad, what's going on?" So quickly, Puck has to tell Hermia to please leave quickly, get out of here. His friend tries to distract him by telling him a joke to diffuse the awkwardness in the situation. But Puck comes up to James. He's like, "James, please don't tell Mom." And James is like, "What? Why are you doing this? Why would you be?" He doesn't even know what to say. But Puck's like, "Please, just don't tell her, okay?" And James, just confused and startled, agrees. But he's still conflicted. So just trying to get what he just saw out of his mind. He is going to play some games with his friend, and they sort of have an unspoken agreement that they are not going to talk about this. Puck, of course, is very startled. He tries to relax on his bed, tries to read, but he finds he can't focus on the book at all. And meanwhile, Allie comes home from school, and yes, her grades are getting better, and she too brought a friend home from school, little Michael, a neighborhood boy right there. Good to have fun. Well, one thing I've noticed about our a lot of our young Sims in this Lincoln family is the unfortunate tendency to, well, get a little chubby, especially when they're children. And it looks like Allie's falling into that mode. So, well, it's always good to go for a swim. Nothing like a good swim to work off some of that weight as well as have fun. It's a very good thing. And now it comes to 4 o'clock. And Lucy arrives home. And yes, there is good news with Lucy. She has been elected to Congress. Yes, her election was successful. She's given her victory speeches and everything. So, and because things move fast in the sim world, she's already starting. Already starting in her congressional seat. No transitional squad or anything needed. I mean, I would imagine the districts are smaller in the sim world. But she is unaware of the personal stuff that is going on in her very house, on the very couch which she is now sitting with her son and the neighborhood boy. Yes, things that she does not know are going to really be a problem immediately. Well, not like they already are, but they're sitting down for a good meal. And this is the most tense that James has felt, because he's sitting right across from his mom, and there's a big part of him that just wants to tell her right then and there, in front of everyone, what's going on. But he's nervous because he also doesn't want to betray his dad and what he told his dad. And he's also thinking of Allie, who's sitting there enjoying her food, doesn't want to, you know, she's very young and he doesn't want to mess everything up for her too. So he just eats his, I guess, chili is what they made, and tries to keep his mind off it. And Lucy, it would be good if you don't eat like that in Congress, because, I don't know, something tells me slobby eating would not be a good thing. But it's time for homework. And Puck goes out to help Allie with her homework, while Lucy goes to help James with his. Yes, still very important to get those good grades. And while he's doing the homework, he even has a temptation to tell her there, but he's not going to do that. And outside, the two of them also work on their homework as the sun goes down around them. Yes, Puck trying to take his mind off things, help Allie, which isn't too hard because she's still in elementary school and their coursework hasn't gotten too intense yet, I would think. I mean, well, and there goes Puck finishing up, or Puck, what am I saying, James, finishing up the last of his homework. And as a knowledge sim, that makes him very happy. And he's very thankful for his mom's help. With all the stress of running for office and all that, she still has time for her kids and helping them with their homework. It's quite a thing. So he says thank you. He really wants to say what he wants to say, but he asks her, well, since I've done my homework, can I go out now? And Lucy says sure, because Puck needs something to take his mind off, or James needs something to take his mind off all this. And where does he go? He goes to the house of Rita. Yes, he figures that she will be able to, you know, give him some good advice and maybe a nice distraction from his problems. So yes, he walks to the house and almost misses her. And they do a little dance out on the lawn for some reason. And yes, he tells her, she's like, how are things going? He's like, oh, there's a lot going on. You know, my dad, he's well, he's, and Rita can just sort of tell, oh, he's sleeping around, isn't he? And he was like, well, yeah. It's like, but Rita doesn't seem too perturbed about that, you know, knowing her own dad's promiscuous ways. And because she's not too bothered, before long, James finds himself being not all that bothered either. And the two of them make out right there on the front lawn. Rita can't help but notice that James is not the guy he was just a short while ago. An awkward, slightly overweight teen, James has now become thinner, more muscular, and much more confident. And she notices the change as he comes right over and grabs her in the butt. So they come in for hamburgers. And Rita's dad is eating away, and even Rita's dad has seen the difference in James. You know, it's like, damn, son, you're doing well for yourself, I see. Lost those poundage, you know, being the very out front guy he is. Well, they decide to head out to the hot tub for a little bit of hot tub fun. Yes, everyone likes a good hot tub thingy, I guess. Besides, I'm sure Rita wants to see his six-pack, if he has one now. Not that he really does, but it's getting better. And so they chat in the tub. And he splashes her, being the silly kid that he partially still is. But yes, they get closer there, in the bubbling water. Yes, that warm bubbling water can do magic for a young teenage couple. Yes, and whereas Rita wasn't all that attracted to the old James, she finds herself quite turned on by this new, more confident James. And yes, the making out continues there in the hot tub. Yeah, the two of them are really going at it. It's quite fun for the young couple, if you can call them a couple. I mean, nothing's official yet, but maybe after today. Yes. Nothing quite like making out. And the whole problems with his parents couldn't be further from James's mind right now. Yes, his interactions with Rita have tossed those right out of the mental window as the two of them get together in that tub and have themselves a lovely time. Indeed. Well, they want to get out of the tub before they find themselves getting too pruny, you know. So they get themselves back over to the couch there, and of course they decide to put on some heavy metal because, you know, Rita follows after her dad, loving that metal. You know, it's a cool thing. And yes, they're even getting frisky on the couch, and why wouldn't they? I mean, they have that music playing, they have a pink flamingo in the background. What isn't there to love about all that? Oh yes. And Rita is egging him on, yes, to get to a certain place where they want to go. Things are moving very quickly, but neither one of them really care at this point. They're just having too much fun. Oh yes, they're having lots of fun there. So they head off to the bedroom, and what do they do there? Well, they do. Well, what do you think they do?
Hey, this is it. This is it, alright.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Well, James knows he's been out long enough. He's had one hell of a thing. And, yes, he kisses Rita goodbye, knowing that whatever happens, at least, well, he's had a good time. And so he goes off, heading back to the house. Oh man, and away he goes. Now back at the house, they're finishing up Allie's homework, which turned out to take a little bit longer than than James's homework, but it's all good. And you know, they're relaxing with some video games in the evening, as Sims are often known to do. Yes, of course, James isn't going to tell his family about his experiences. Teenagers usually like to keep that kind of stuff to themselves when it comes to their family. I'm sure James is probably going to tell his friends at school. Well, Puck, worn out from a day of worry, is going to bed, thinking about what he's really doing. But now that he's home, the thoughts do come to James again, so he gives a little chat with Allie, asking her if she notices anything is going on. He really wants to tell his younger sister too, but he can't quite bring himself to inform her of what's going on. And of course, Lucy comes over to chill on the couch as well, so he can't really say it in front of her without blowing the whole thing up, and he's not quite ready to do this on this night that's been so much fun for him, and also, you know, so successful for Lucy, having received her electoral victory. But all the people are going into their beds with things unresolved, questions hanging over their minds, and tension abound. How will this ever end? Because it's got to end somehow. Somehow, this has all got to come out. Yes. As Lucy wonders once again why Puck isn't joining her in their bed. But Puck, knowing full well why he feels too guilty to come in there with his wife, is quite sad. But James sleeps in his bed, knowing full well that he had quite an awesome day, trying not to think about the fact that he caught his dad making out with another woman from his past, and poor Allie not knowing anything at all. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. I bet you're glad I haven't stopped making Sims 2, and I do plan on making more soon. So, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody, and see you later.